I want to explore, but I don't want to explore because in as much as I like the idea of being adventurous, I also don't like the idea of trying new things. Here I am in a generation with people who are exceptionally adventurous. You would hear what people in my generation would do at that time, and you're like, I'm okay. Means little children, right? God just did it in such a way that in the area where I lacked, He brought in balance for me. Even though I wasn't the wisest at the time, even though I didn't have the understanding at the time, God brought in balance for me. Like some way, somehow, I just used to figure it out, and I used to figure it out the right way.
That you go through something, you know what you faced during the thing, you know the mistake you made, but when you see somebody making that same mistake, it's like it's colossal. You're already going, you did more. You did more. It's just that now you are wiser.
The way you also grew up, every other person has also grown up, right? There is something that is stuck in their past and will forever be stuck in their past. If they didn't experience it or if they couldn't identify it, they would pick it up in somewhere in their future. Why? Because they don't even know what it is. And that's how I always tell people, you can't really help them. They have to experience it to know. Like I said, you don't know which side is better except you taste both sides. You have to face the heat of here and face the heat of there. That's when you know this place is better than that place. So leave them. There's probably it may be costly, yes, but you have to experience it first before you then decide, okay, I think this is the way to go.
Yes, because I've talked to a lot of young people, and at 19, you are telling me that in my past. I say, which past? They're saying past. I'm like, which past do you have at 19?
I had an encounter that changed my life forever. And then that was the first time I saw him with a device, and he brought out his iPad and kept on reading out names. This person manufactured this person started this, and this person started that. I could just see young children.
Hello, people. You're welcome to another episode of Life Moments with Timi. And I still remain Oluwa Timileyin Ayekiton, and it's always a joy to have great people that I bring every week, and I have this great personality, Aderinsola, but I will let her do the honors of introducing herself properly. So, Darin, over to you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Aderinsola Omirin. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a shoemaker. I've been doing that for the past 6 years. I make shoes for women. I actually focus on women more than I focus on any other gender. Another thing I really focused on in my uni is that I create shoes with special needs, which is orthopedic shoes. And I've been doing that for the past 6 years. I'm a believer. I love perfumes. I'm very intelligent. And I'm your unconventional Gen Z, so I could put it that way.
This is the first time I'm hearing Esther. I never knew it was Esther.
Are you serious? My name is Esther. All day, every day, queen.
Ayaba kind of thing. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew that I had to have a Gen Z on. And which other Gen Z than you?
Yeah.
So to do my own background story of you, I've known you since you're in the tummy. So,
That's right.
Practically, I can remember vividly your naming, even though I didn't attend. I passed in front of the house that particular day. So before I do too much exegesis to my understanding of you growing up, I want you to just give me a clear background of how it was growing up in Mr. and Mrs. Omirin's house.
Okay. Growing up, my childhood, it has a little bit of bittersweet to it, but I'll break it down a bit. So I'm the last child out of 4 children, and then the eldest in my house is about, I don't know, I'm not sure, but let me even use Dudo, because Dudo is my sister. She's probably been on this show. They've probably watched her, so if you follow the show, you probably have seen her. So that's just a side note. But my sister is a clear 10 years older than I am. And I have another brother that's about 7 years older or 8 years. I don't know, I'm not sure. Older than I am. Now, talk less of the eldest, because I don't even want to think about that. I don't even know how many years he used to collect from my hand. But as a child, when I'm in school, they're at home. And when they're at home, I'm in school. The gap was a lot for me. And you know, when people talk about parents and their strength and their ginger deteriorating over time, I think it's actually true. Because you know how they say, that time when we were small, you are enjoying. Means you people, right? You're enjoying. That time, mommy would do this, daddy would do that. But you and Timi, you're not. And I had that. I didn't really have the bond that the three of them had, right? So they'll tell me, remember when Uncle this came? Remember? And I'm just there like, who is that? Like, I don't even know who that is. And I've got to realize, and that is why I'll forever be grateful to Bishop David Oyedepo, because, you know, while they were coming in and out, I just found that I was alone. You know, they'll go, I'll come back, and it's just very few moments that we got to spend together. And it's like 2 weeks, they come for Christmas and they're gone, and I have to go. So my childhood was bittersweet. The sweet was very temporary, but the bitter had a very long-lasting, permanent stench. Like I was just always alone. My dad and my mom, they were nothing. Somebody does the day, I'm back home. You know, I didn't really have that bond. I think it was something I then got to like build with them as I was growing up. So I didn't really have that.
That's with your siblings, right?
Yeah, that's with my siblings. So even with my parents too, I mean, it was just there. You know, it's different when you are with your family. I don't know, everybody always say, when we were this, and I'm just there. I'm like, who is even that uncle people are talking about? And then I'll just try to take my memory back. I think I remember someone, but I don't know if it's who people are talking about. So it wasn't really the best, but at the same time, I'm grateful for what I have. You know, I'm grateful for what I also had at the time. So let's just keep it that way for now. No specific question. So that was how my childhood was at the time. Yeah.
You know, now when you are alighting that it's 10 years now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's more. Okay.
It's more?
Wait. So, I can clearly remember jam lesson.
Yeah.
Jam lesson was, for me, was 04, 05.
Right.
And you used to come with Doyin or Yinka sometimes.
Yeah.
To jam lesson, and you were like 3 or 4.
Okay.
You were practically a baby in code.
Yeah.
Even though you could walk and everything. So now thinking about it makes sense, because Yinka was in SS3, I think. Then.
Can you imagine? So any parent that is planning to do family planning, 4. That are watching this video, if you are doing family planning, if you do what they did to me, you are not good. You are not nice, because how would you?
Have you had that conversation with Popsy and Momsy?
Yes, I have now. That kilo shele. And then they just laugh about
planning
it.
Fail or what happened?
I don't even know what happened. Maybe but I know, and I'm too sure that God wanted me to come. You guys can tell me you didn't plan for me, but they're like, Timi said he always wanted his sister.
No, we always knew that we know that God wanted you to come.
Yeah.
Did they really, was it like a decision that, okay, let's try for another child?
Oh yeah, it was. It was actually a decision. Apparently they wanted 4 kids. And then apparently Timi kept on asking them that he wanted a baby sister. Then when I finally came, he was upset. I don't even understand, but that was the story.
He was living the life, to me that I knew, was living the life.
Yes, he had Ben's toy as a baby. He had 2 bicycles. I had all the gist. And he's like, he wants to be a sister. Then I finally came and he was so pissed.
You came and you spoiled his runs.
I took the shine. I don't even understand it now. I don't understand the boy either.
Okay, so you were practically raised by, I can say you raised yourself to a certain extent.
Yeah, to a very large extent, yes, because I had to make decisions by myself from a very young age. Yeah, so I definitely had to raise myself. I think everybody has that role to play, because it gets to a point where you begin to make choices, and the moment you start to make choices without the influence of person A or person B. You're growing up and you're deciding what path to go. So I think, yes, I can say that to a very large extent. I also had a very big role to play in raising myself. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to dwell on early teen years.
Oh, you can. Yeah.
Let me know, how was your teen years like? Because you guys were in another era. You were using phone at age, I've forgotten, maybe you were still even in GS1 or GS2. You had one phone like that.
Yeah, there was,
and I'm like,
7 or 8. I don't even know.
Me, I didn't see phone until university. So how did you navigate teenage years?
Okay, so I think for me, I've always been an adventurous child, but my adventure is always to so let me put it this way. I want to explore, but I don't want to explore. Because in as much as I like the idea of being adventurous, I also don't like the idea of trying new things. And here I am in a generation with people who are exceptionally adventurous. Like, you would hear what people in my generation would do at that time, and you're like, Omokekere means little children, right? And I think at that point, God just has how He does things. Because irrespective of the fact that I was young, I didn't really know anything. And like I said, I didn't have relationship with my siblings at that age in abundance, right? I had to identify what was right from what was wrong. And in the process, I was shaping the Aderinsola of 2024, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I can't tell you that, when I was 13, I was no, it wasn't like that. When you're trying to put your hand, that this thing is hot. I'm trying to put my hand in the fire. But I know if I actually put my hand, it will burn me. So that was how I was as a teenager. I could see that the really thing you're about to do is actually not going to benefit you in any way. So I'm going to try, but I'm not going to, no, it's going to hurt me. And then in the process of me moving back, I remember people like, Sister Onyeko, my sister, they're doing, I just see how they were. They had it looked like their lives were so perfect. So many things that I begin to see about these people around me. I'm like, okay, maybe not. And you get to also find out that when we're young, so we used to make a lot of mistakes. So I see that my friend is making a mistake, and the outcome of that mistake I don't like. So what you then find is me, pulling out. I pull out really quickly. I just pull out. I had that as a teenager. I used to be really friendly, but I started growing older. I started understanding a lot about, the friendship dynamic, who you should be friends with, who you shouldn't be friends with, so many things like that. So God just did it in such a way that in the area where I lacked, He brought in balance for me. Even though I wasn't the wisest at the time, even though I didn't have the understanding at the time, God brought in balance for me. Some way, somehow, I just used to figure it out, and I used to figure it out the right way. So yeah, that's how I put my teenage years. It was just me. I was just figuring it out. I was just exploring, and I would try to do this, and okay, no, that's not the way to go. I'll try to do this, and okay, no, that's not the way to go. And in the process, lessons learned, and yeah, that's how I navigate my journey.
Because I won't lie to you, I was scared for you as a child. Because I know that, okay, your siblings were in uni. Timi, that was not in uni, was in maybe boarding.
Yeah.
You were alone. And being alone as a child in the internet age and all that, there were, I can't even remember, there was a day that maybe you were watching TV and mom said, maybe Momsi asked that, what are you watching? I think you were watching a Nicki Minaj video, and you say, you want to be like Nicki Minaj.
Are you serious?
So the truth was that why I'm asking this is because I want to know what switched. Because the daring of 14, 15, I was already like, daring. But daring...
Because I said I like Nicki Minaj.
No, it's not because you said you Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe in my own grown eye, because sometimes it's difficult for I want to believe you people are facing, even though it's still the same things, but in a different type of way.
Yeah.
So, and we make this mistake that you go through something, you know what you faced during the thing, you know the mistake you made, but when you see somebody making that same mistake, it's like it's colossal. You're already going, but you did more. You did more. It's just that now you are wiser. So sometimes it's like that when you're looking down and looking at somebody else. So I'm like, this daring, but we see a switch. Because you can't tell me that the personality that was in that, the trajectory of the personality of 13, 14, 15 was the same trajectory of that personality at 16, 17, 18. There was a switch. What happened?
Okay, so I think every child actually goes through that phase. I don't have kids, but I have nieces, right? But I feel like there's some times where people just have to experience those things. Because there's no way you would want the other side if you haven't tasted this side. There is something that is here that is not there, and there's something that is there that is not here. So I think the way you also grew up, every other person has also grown up, right? There is something that is stuck in their past and will forever be stuck in their past. If they didn't experience it or if they couldn't identify it, they would pick it up in somewhere in their future. Why? Because they don't even know what the hell it is. So I feel like what happened to me was just a state of realization. Having to understand what exactly I am, you get there. Look, from Ipako International, what was I go to school, nursery school, come back, my mom was my stock for me, I wear my shoes, bye mommy, bye, and then I'm growing. I mentioned JS1, I'm trying to do my assignment, I still need assistance somewhere, I go someone. It's a gradual process. You get into a phase where it's so clear that you need help, right? And there are children like that who eventually get the help from people. But there are children like that who don't get the help and they turn out to be whatever. There are also people who don't get the help from anywhere, but they get it right. So I happen to be in the category of people who didn't have the help anywhere because I actually didn't even look for it. So let me lie. I didn't look for it though, because I had already given up on the fact that I didn't have help. Because my sibling, when they don't finish England, when this person finished India, when this person finished, it was just like a bye, every time bye, okay, welcome bye situation for me. So I didn't really have that. So I fall in the category of people who had to figure it out. And then in the process of growing, I'm outgrowing the phase of my mom packing my lunchbox, doing this, and I'm trying to, from what is right to what is wrong. You don't pick this is not yours. There is an evolution. And, like you said, everybody goes through that phase. Everybody has to deal with that. I dealt with that. And in the process of dealing with that, I found myself in Covenant University. A place I'm forever grateful, that I passed through. Because as much as people hate that school, I'm sorry to bust your bubble if you're a student and you hate the school, but I don't. I actually don't. That place has done so many things to so many lives, you can't even imagine it. Even you that you hate, you don't know what it has done for you. But I'll speak for myself, right? So it was in 100 level, and I had looked back at everything, even though I still didn't get it all, because I cannot tell you that even at 100 level, I didn't get it. I was still trying to figure it out. What am I? Who am I? Why am I even here? Okay, and I wrote it in my book, The Radiant Path, that when I had entered Covenant, it felt like they had put the world on my shoulders. Like, this is almighty university. And my heart does it. Hey, they cannot fail in this place. So this place is higher institution. I had all that fear and trembling. And I just got to a place of, I need help. And the only place, you go to see you, Lord Church. Oh, we go along, but you here though. There's no way. You can't escape it. You go, Wednesday is that one is even optional, but I used to go. I just needed to know, God show me the way to go. In my book, the first thing I started with was direction. Because if you don't have direction, only new resources means that you may have the resources, but you wouldn't even know how to put it to good use. Because if the map says actually go left, and you go right because you have it, it's all finished. Because that's not even where you're supposed to go in the first place. And I realized at that point that you just need to stick to my plan and purpose for you. And what's God's plan and purpose for me? he said something about Ayaba when we started. Ayaba simply means the wife of the king. I am a queen. And I am conscious of the fact, even if they'll say something like, oh, kings and queens in Hebrew. I am a queen. How does a queen, who is a queen? I was on TV the other day and the lady said, you walked in so majestically. I even had to ask, oh, who is this lady? I'm just a girl, but like, I am conscious of the fact that I know too well what I carry. I know too well what I possess. And that's what CU did to me. It brought out the giant in me. Even though the giant has not finished coming, the giant is still evolving. The giant literally got like, hey, it got the taps like, excuse me, this is who you are. And I began to harness my gift. I began to stay on course. Because you can't be this tomorrow and be this next tomorrow. I stand for this. There's some things that people would tell. My friends would tell me that, I said I'm not to bother telling you because you wouldn't do it. They don't need to ask me. They already know my answer. Now, that is me growing up. I'm starting to set my value system. I'm starting to let you know that this is what I tolerate and this is what I don't tolerate. These are the places you find me and these are the places you don't find me. Why? I'm conscious of what is on my inside. So I think it just has to happen to everybody. There's some children that I are seeing them now. I was in England with him. For those of you that didn't know, I was in England with Uncle Timi. When was it? April? I was in England with him a couple of months ago, and we had a conversation about some young people, and I was moved to tears. The truth is, you can talk, you can counsel, but you can't really help them. And that's how I always tell people, you can't really help them. They have to experience it to know. Like I said, you don't know which side is better except you taste both sides. You have to face the heat of here and face the heat of there. That's when you will know this place is better than that place. So leave them. There's probably it may be costly, yes, but you have to experience it first before you then decide, okay, I think this is the way to go. Because sometimes words are not enough. Discipline
experience is not the best teacher. That is even established. Experience is experience is not the best teacher.
To a very large extent, I believe
we Christians know that the Holy Ghost is the best teacher. That's
obviously.
Putting that aside,
yeah.
But we know that the Holy Ghost is the best teacher. Experience is not the best teacher. People have to go through experience or horrendous experiences, and as it were.
Yeah,
I would say because I'm particular about this your switch is because I've talked to a lot of young people, and at 19, you are telling me that in my past. I say, which past?
This was me on my past.
I now know. You don't understand. You're saying past at 19.
Oh, my past.
I'm like, which past do you have at 19? So wait, now I understand. Like, I now understand that a lot of things that we maybe understood in our 20s, they understand it way earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe because of technology.
Times have changed, yeah.
So you see that most people fall into waywardness, destructive behaviors and all that.
Yeah.
From as early as maybe 14, 15. So you see that by 19, one thing, they started having sense.
Yeah.
In local balance. They become wiser, basically, at 19. And I'm like, whoo. So you are hearing things that they've done at 16, at 17. If you're not careful, you've not done it in 30.
Actually, yeah.
And I'm like,
no, it's true. It's true.
So that's why I'm saying experience most times, because those things are scars, whether we like it or not. Yes. If you have gone through it, we believe that you can go beyond it, forgetting your past, moving forward, get better, and move that. But some of those scars affect even the way you relate later in life. Affect a lot of the way you behave and things that come to you just because you've gone through a very rough patch. I know thank God for family, thank God for community, because I want to believe that whether or not you you had maybe total guidance from siblings.
Yeah.
You were in a community.
Yeah.
Growing up, you still had people, if not directly maybe your parents, but people that could still say, and there was still the fear of failing your parents too. That was there too. So let's believe that did a lot. So you are in uni now. Your life is changed. The birth of Solar Souls.
Yeah.
Timi, what is slippers? Where did you start shoes? Where did that come from? Of all business to do in the university?
Yeah, that's a story I really love to share. I really love sharing that story because it really shaped my entire life. And I think there is no way, I don't know what God has in store for me when it comes to 100 years from now, because I now feel like a story. I don't know what's to come, right? But one thing I know for sure is that no matter how great I get, you see that story of Solar Souls, you see that story of how I started, it can never be eliminated from the story. There's no way, I can't even get into fancy tech and everything. I say, I started as I started as a shoemaker. And I would try to summarize the story so I don't take your time. So I remember very well, like I said, in the quest to just know, God, what would you have me do? Like, what plans do you have for me? What do you want me to do now? And then that was even 100 level alpha. So alpha semester in Unconventional usually first semester. And then I remember Omega semester, there's this thing Papa does with us. It's called departure service. Every single semester, never been a time, the entire 8 semesters I spent in Covenant, I had never been in departure service where Papa wasn't present. So this particular one was the second one ever in school. And he came and he spoke to us about power of starting now. He kept on emphasizing, you're not too young to do great things. That was the first time I ever saw Papa with a device, actually. I don't know what the date is. I had to go back and look for my chapel notes because it was a very special day in my life. I had an encounter that changed my life forever. And then that was the first time I saw him with a device, and he brought out his iPad and kept on reading out names. This person manufactured this person started this, and this person started that. And he kept telling us when he was a young child, he didn't have to, but he went to join a site. He did labor. He bought his first pair of shoes. I think the name of the shoes were called Aquila or something. I don't even know. I don't know if I'm saying the right thing, but I think it's called Aquila. He brought his grandmother furniture from the money. Yeah.
Aquila.
Oh, sorry. Aquila. Right. So that one. And as everything was going, he got his grandmother her first set of furniture. So many things. It was so inspiring, and I could just see young children doing that. I was so, I don't know, my spirit was just stirred up. I'm like, oh my God. It just became like an aha moment, like, Diri, this is it. Okay, now this is it, Abby. Papa, pray. Ask God to give you clarity. Ask God to give you guidance. Just pray. As you're going home, the Holy Spirit will speak to you. He will guide you. He will... I just get do this thing. I don't even know what I want to do. And now I was at that phase. And I had 2 things that I wanted to do. It was baking. I really loved baking. Right? I still do. I like to cook. Anything kitchen, just make the place fancy for me. I like a properly lit kitchen equipment. I'll enjoy it. And shoemaking. Why shoe? I broke my Lego in JS3 and I was on crutches for a while. And that period when my classmates go for break, I'll be alone in the class. One leg with a cast, the other leg with a slippers. I couldn't wear shoes. I used to wear slippers to school. Everybody would have left me. I was just sitting down with myself. I was just looking at my leg. And for a very funny reason, I would just be looking at, okay, how did they join this part of the slippers together? Okay. And it was so comfortable. So, and even after I took off the cast, I couldn't wear shoes. I couldn't even wear socks. I just had to wear slippers. And that was where the love for flats just came in. I just really loved it. And if in case you're wondering where the orthopedic shoes also come from, it also came from there. So I also got very personal with people that had special needs. A lot of people that have club roots, a lot of people that have, polio deficiencies. One leg is higher than the other. I also, just developed passion for that as well. And I had to put it as, a service that I render in my business because why not, right? So, and then I decided, okay, fine, baking wouldn't be sustainable because I can't bake in school. We don't cook in school. It's not going to work. So I can always do that as a side hustle much later. But hey, I'll do shoes. So crazy. I'm studying sociology. You're in 100 level. You're just starting. How do I approach my father and tell him that I want to do shoes? But like I said, when it's God's plan, there is no devil that can change it. There is nobody that can have an opinion. You know, people have developed opinions like, oh no, I don't think you should. Because I was expecting from my dad. I was expecting that he'd be like, oh no, you can't do it, just enter school. But like Papa would always say, time is an asset of inestimable value. Hey, what I would have waited to do, I would probably have finished CU now. I wouldn't have passion for the business anymore. And I had to enter the job market. I told God, that this business I'm about to start, I would not, till today, I don't have a CV. I don't know if that's irresponsible, but I don't even think I really care. I don't have a CV. I don't know what my CV looks like. And I said, God, this business you're going to give to me, I want it to be so big that I don't have to look for a job. And do you know what it means to not look for a job? You have to have money. Oh yeah, it has to make sense. Your money has to come in calculated. Everything has to be sufficient enough for you to not actually be frustrated and go get a job on the streets of Lagos. And I told God that. I came home and I told my dad, and my dad was like, oh, okay. If you know my father, oh, okay, doesn't cut it. He would have thought about it and be like, oh, and that's why I said, when God is in the plan, don't bother your age. Everything will fall in line. Even somebody that you think, that's who they are, that's what they will say, it will shock you. You know how God was doing the heart of Pharaoh? There's nobody on this earth that cannot be handled. And my dad said, okay, I'll send you the money tomorrow. I'm like, so let me say it again. I'm trying to do a business. So in school, I'll register it, I'll sell. He said, go ahead. Now, this is a girl that had her father's ATM card in school. I didn't have to. And that's just the truth. And I think, I don't even know what, but yes. It was, I had it up until, 300 level. From when I entered school, all the semesters, I had my father's ATM card with me. I didn't have to. I eat what I want to the glory of God. I didn't suffer, unlike my other siblings. I didn't suffer. Aderinsola Omirin mistake. If you hear my name very well, you understand that, I didn't come to this life to suffer. And that's exactly what God did for me. And I was in school. I didn't have to, but hey, I chose. Right? And there were some other things that happened though that also wanted me to, just carve out my own niche and just do my own thing. But the most important thing was that I just wanted to do something. God said He will bless the works of your hands. When God is coming to bless everybody in my own life, why that big way my hand is empty? This is what I want to do. I have passion for, and that's how Solar started. When I came back to school, long story short, it was a banger. Like I had trade fair. We started knowing the name. I would go from door to door. Like I said, I didn't have to. So don't go and think, oh, maybe she had to pay her school fees. I didn't have to pay any school fees. I didn't have to do anything. All I just needed to do was work hard. I go from door to door. Shout out to all my Shout out to all my friends that were so selfless. Every time we are doing, let's go. They will go from door. Hi, you get slams of door in your face. Don't do bass. Sorry, I don't want. Let me see. How much is it? I don't want. And you have to bend down to help them fit the shoe. I didn't for once feel insulted or anything. But guess what? At the end of the day, let them do rush us. You understand? Now, hi, Derry. Can you come out? Hi, Derry. Can you come out?
Shout out to Mr. Omirin.
Yeah.
The truth is that he carried it on his head.
Yes, he did. He did. He still does.
That's where.
He still does.
That's where proper parenting to come.
Yeah.
And
I
God
agree.
help us that we are good parents and supportive parents, because I remember him following me up.
Yeah, for that
stand on trade.
Yeah, and it was the first ever. Like nobody has actually ever done anything like that before. Like I actually took it off the grid. Even the t-shirts I did, I had the branded shirt. I had my friends together. I set the trend. Like God actually put everything in place.
Like this, so
yes, so and God actually sent me people. God sent me good people that took it like it was theirs.
Yeah,
like
because I saw a lot of people.
Oh yes,
helped. They were all wearing shirts.
Customized shirts. Yes, no. They were such a blessing, and they still are.
So we can. So we can establish that capital was not a problem. Capital came from family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was them trusting you to know that you have a good head upon your shoulder.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
And believing in the vision and releasing the funds, really.
Yeah.
Because capital is always an issue in business. Most people are not starting stuff because they say they don't have capital, they don't know how to succeed. So sometimes you'll be surprised that the person that is going to give you the capital is just there. You've not asked, or your vision is not big enough.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
You're not even willing to start small. I think that's another thing. That's another thing. You're not willing to start small. You just want to. Let me just see the way this person goes. No GG. You just want to, know.
My pastor used to say. He says, nothing is small until you compare it. So most times it's falling into those that compare themselves to themselves are not wise category, where you're using someone else's vision or someone's vision
of their results. Yeah, you don't even know where they're coming from. That's another thing.
You don't know where they
you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know what they've been through.
It's legit.
Yeah.
See, it's not even. It might be a facade. What the result you think you are seeing might even be a facade. And even if it is authentic, you don't know what the process.
No, let's even go to that side.
Let's go deeper.
Oh my goodness, I don't know, but I mean, like I said,
see,
at the end of the day, you will just get to know that. I think that's all I'm going to say. You will get to know that slow and steady, right? Papa said it's better to be slow and sure than to be fast and fail, because mama share gal, it will be doing you like let me do past this person. This person is not doing it very well.
It's for the gram now. It's for the gram life.
First of all, go and try it. Somebody was telling me sometime that this thing that you are doing, I can do this, I can do that. Like I was like, okay, fine, you can actually go and do it. Go and do it and let's see. My brother, today is what's today? Let me check. Today is 31st of October 2024. I'm talking 2020. I haven't seen anything. If it's that easy, do it. And then the issue is you don't ask questions. If there's anything about me that I thank God for. Me, Beraga, you see me from afar, you think, this girl is, hey, all this one, look at that Instagram, look at that this, look at that. You be wondering that this one, Oman Kaku, is a lie. Don't worry. If I need help, I know what to do. And my mouth is not too heavy to ask. But you have people that you haven't even done anything. And you're having issues with asking for help. You're having issues with, can you? Is a bad thing. I've had to ask for help from people that are younger than me. It doesn't reduce me in any way, shape, or form. It is wisdom. It's wisdom because it just makes my journey shorter. And it limits my resources towards the path of wastage. I don't have to waste before I get it right. I don't believe so. I feel like that's a very foolish approach to anything at all. Business, anything that you want to, let me just tell you, you have the money.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Let me just it's a lie, It's the one that you did. What happened? I said that you stopped. Okay, how did you stop? Okay, wow. Okay, so people do that. Oh, I didn't know. I never knew. And then before you know, you ask another person again. You begin to compare the information you've gotten. And on that, you build something sustainable. Not just from the fantasies you're building in your head. I don't know how people do that, but I don't know.
Sometimes it's easy. It's just easy up here. You think I will do it like this? I will take it like this. Start it now.
I was about to throw shade, but I'm not going to throw the shade yet. Maybe another interview again. I'll throw the shade. This shade is still very
confidential.
No, don't worry. Don't let me throw the shade. It's a good space. I will throw shade. But yeah. I get it.
But the truth is, people, it's the gram life.
Yeah.
Fake life is a thing. Some people show it some people call it packaging.
Yeah.
It works in some sector. We must understand that carrying yourself like a king doesn't mean that you came out to be shout. Like, see, like for instance, now you might have come out of a 1-bedroom, or your mattress is on the floor. But when you come out, you show up correct. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that where you're coming from is you're lying about where you're coming from. It just shows that, okay, you
even with what you
value
have.
yourself. Exactly. It's learning how to abound and how to abase.
Yeah.
That's how I say it. Because you've not eaten. Okay, let me give you a clear example. Bible was like, Bible tells you that when you are fasting, don't come out with your face rumpled. Clean it up, rub oil, look good. So it's the same way. If you have not eaten and you are stepping out, does that now mean you should carry a long face and you should? No. So it's somebody will say it's packaging. You should have come no. I believe there's a fine balance. You will know when you are doing too much.
Yeah, no, you will know. You will know.
You yourself, you will know.
Yeah, you
are
will
already borrowing to show.
Yeah, should I mean baby? Yeah, I mean baby. So I mean range.
If you are borrowing to show up, if you are then you start to know that, okay, yes, that's you now have to lie to keep up. You're lying to keep up. You are saying things that you've not been to the place.
Oh, I just came from Moscow yesterday. I just came from
that now you are on the extreme, but showing up correctly, looking good, I don't think there's anything wrong. I think packaging is key in business.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. I mean, it is not bad, it's allowed, but when you start to patch corners, try to, do unnecessary stunts and make unnecessary statements and take unnecessary actions that you shouldn't, and you know that it will cost you on the long run.
Then the thing about Solar Souls is that I see that you've gone through seasons. How have you been able to build a structure around that? Because the truth is, one of the killers of new business is structure. And I know it because structure is expensive.
Very.
So people don't invest in structure. You are quick to want to take out the money you have put in. So once you take out the money you have put in, you are left with profit. The profit alone, you even want to show up. You are already spending. Then you are looking for money to. So at the end of the day, you don't have money to put in structures, because structure will mean staffs. Structure will mean there is a protocol there's quality control. There's all this. There's all that. You can be absent from the business. That's why you don't see even. Now we are seeing the advent of fashion people go into 10 years, 15 years in the business, 20 years. But before, most times you can't do it. And you can't even do it without them actively involved. Like they can't leave it. They can't even excuse themselves for like a few years or few months without it crumbling, because that's when they'll tell you dealing with artisans is a problem, dealing with this is a problem, because structure seemed to be a problem. How have you been able to manage around that?
Okay, so for a very long time, Solar has operated on a very, I would say it has operated in such a way that control it. And I think that's a moment where every business owner should be able to identify. It gets to a point where you can manage it. You have software, you have this person doing that for you, just little people here and there, nothing too much. But then it gets to a point where it grows beyond those people, and it grows beyond your software, and it grows beyond everything. And what you then need to do is to increase your capacity. And you are going to increase your capacity on all fronts. And as a matter of fact, even introduce new things, new protocol, new approach, new everything. Everything is just new. And I think it's also important to add advanced, because it's not what you're typically used to. So it's something entirely new and complex. So if you get to that point without identifying that you've gotten there, you then get to see that you are micromanaging. From micromanaging, it shows that you don't have what it takes to handle what you've built. And then gradually it falls to the ground. So that's what has gotten to that point where it has grown beyond me. It has grown beyond trying to get this person to do this, trying to get this person to do that. Now, Solar Source has to expand. So I had to identify that. And what's that window that is to put a pin in? Just a pin in the book. A pin in something. I don't know, but it has gotten to that.
Need.
Exactly. Exactly. So now it has gotten to that point, and I have to expand, meaning proper structure. And like you said, structure is expensive, right? You have to what? Get this space. When you get the space, you have to have offices. When you have offices, you have to invest in what? Machines. When you invest in machines, you have to invest in technology. When you invest in that, you have to do this. And by the time people think about these things, they feel like they can hack it with the way they were doing before, but things have changed. And if you don't respond to if you don't respond appropriately to what your business requires, you will then make mistakes. And from there, you see that you cannot manage it anymore. Before you know it, they're calling you out on Instagram, they're calling you out on Twitter, they're calling you, everybody's calling you, we cannot deliver, you cannot do this. And boom, you're blacklisted.
And no time this time.
So it's beyond. I think for me, but what I got. So I think for me, it has grown past the phase of business. Now for me, it's legacy. I go to places and I'm just on my own, probably just pressing my phone, or I'm even just chatting with somebody. I'm just goes, oh hi, are you Solar? I'll first look because I have this necklace that says Solar. I usually check first, or even because it's on my neck, or are you trying to be funny, or you actually know me? And people, oh yes, I know you. Okay, I started this lip gloss line, and oh my god, you inspire me. And I'm like, okay, oh thank you, I appreciate you. And then I began to see that even from the little thing that you think you're doing, people are watching. And it has gotten to a point where you have to, for no reason, joke with what God has placed in your hands. I don't think for 1 second that where the business has gotten to today is because of, I'm a guru. I don't think so. And I've never for once thought so. Every award, everything has been given to the glory of God, because I'm just a vessel, nothing more, nothing extra. If I did too much during CU, you would have used someone else. Probably Timi souls or what? Unto souls or doing souls. That means someone else. I know I'm not so special like that, but I mean, I'm special, I'm just joking. But, like he has gone past that point. And what it then means is, as it grows bigger, it becomes, if there's any English like precious, it becomes so precious, because it is very easy for you to lose sight of what you are building.
It's even
every time you are getting applause.
Just know that
you are getting applause from men. So many things, awards are coming in. You think you've arrived. You don't feel like I'm fulfilled. They want to interview you on TV. Gone there, they put me on a newspaper, I've done it. So what is the thing that even when my father was my age gone, it was just a dream. I have a dream in my area. So you can imagine that kind of thing. You just feel like, everything is so rosy and sweet, and oh my god, and I'm so young, and I'm just doing all of these things. And oh my god, you inspire me. It's very easy to lose sight of it, but if you know the plan that God has for you, I even started. This is what they call preamble. And I'm so conscious of that. So about where Solar Source is right now, it's at a point of expansion. And even aside, expanding the business itself, it's also expanding its impact. Let me just say its impact capacity, because we usually do this thing every year. It's called Happy Feet, Happy Holidays. In line with, sustainable development goals, we've decided to also play our part in our communities in Nigeria, where we try to reduce carbon footprint. We focus on SDG 14. We also do no poverty at the moment, because we're trying to empower people, mostly young people, when it comes to education, when it comes to all of that stuff. So the business is growing, but not just only growing to take money. we have a role to play as a company. We have a role to play as a brand. So the bigger you grow, the bigger the responsibilities, the bigger the vision, the bigger everything. So it's a very crucial point that every business owner should be able to identify.
How did you get your structure? How did you achieve your structure? Was it from learning? Was it from case studies?
Yes, no.
How did you come up with that your structure?
I said it. I asked questions. If they like, let them say that you're now the one delivering Obama shoes. It does not mean that I'll stop asking questions. I will ask questions. Right? I asked a lot of questions from people who have gone ahead of me. It is something that has never failed me once, and I don't think it will ever fail me. Because even if you either turn back disappointed or you turn back, grateful that you went to the person. But at any point in time where you find yourself when it comes to those people, you just get to know that you picked something, either a lesson or you picked a gem. So it's either from, it was a waste of my time, but why are you talking like that? You think everybody is so intelligent, you pick one thing or the other. So that's one. And ask people questions, right? Number two, I'm very big on relationships, learning, right? I'm very big on that. I think one of my first coaches, shout out to Nadia Branchik, by the way, like this woman literally saw me and she's like, no girl, like you're too good at what you're doing. Like you're too excellent at what you're doing. And these are the things I needed to do better. Hey, I caught the attention of somebody by just doing what I knew how to do best. And how then did I begin to sharpen my skills? I got to sharpen my skills by one, like I said, taking courses. This life is a lifelong learning journey, lifelong learning. You never stop learning. If you stop learning, you start dying. That's what Papa says, right? So I also do a lot of case studies when it comes to books. I take courses, I do teachings, and all of that stuff, but practically I ask questions. So that's how I was able to get there. And I built a little structure, but now my structure has to be a lot more advanced than what it is right now. So yeah, that's where we are.
Okay.
In the area of expansion.
So, Darren, how do you navigate distractions? You're a young girl. In the city of Lagos.
Lagos.
In Lasgidi.
Distractions. Okay, so I think, first of all, when I'm doing interviews like this, I don't really like sounding like I'm specific or anything, but I'll just keep it simple. When it comes to distractions, when you have a value system and you have something that you're very particular about, you have an understanding of your person, you have an understanding of your assignments, there are levels to the things that can distract you. There are distractions that would automatically take out the focus of any other lady or any other guy. But if the same thing happened in front of me, I may not know it because I don't even recognize it in the first place. And even if I recognize it, it doesn't have anything to do with me. That is just general distractions, right? And when it comes to, you have to probably be particular about your distractions. But when it comes to distractions.
I'm talking of men distractions.
Oh, men distractions, right?
Distractions.
Okay, wait now. Okay, so I think when it comes to men, I said, growing up, I had younger guys reaching out to me, my age mates now. And when they reach out, like, oh my God, they're so hot, they're so sexy. I mean, they're young, we're all young. And as I grew older and I began to, you're an architect, there's a prototype. People do prototype before the actual building. I have to do that for my life as well. So I have a prototype in view now of the dairy of now that I was seeing when I was 16, and the dairy of now that I'm sitting down. I have a dairy of when I'm 50 years old, and the dairy of, so I am working hand in hand. When you even do all that mathematics when it comes to construction, how many this you need, how many this of rod. I don't even know. I got to know all that stuff, but I got to be a wink. But yeah,
Okay, continue.
Requirements. There are things that you need, to get this building from start to finish. And those were the things I also had to, consider growing up as a young girl. So as I began to grow older, things changed, right? My pictures changed. My dress sense changed. How I talk changed. The people that I had I cannot even tell you today now if I know any Nicki Minaj song anymore. But I think apparently I like Nicki Minaj and I didn't. But yeah, now everything has
I
just
have
changed.
stories for you that you have forgotten.
Everything has just changed. And when people see certain women, not people, when men see certain women, they know, at least that I know of. Like I was talking to someone the other day and I said, she was talking about how men used to talk to her. And I said, it's inevitable. It's inevitable because you look like somebody that would ordinarily attract this kind of people. So it's a game of what you're presenting, right? What are you actually giving and what are you showing people? If you look at my Instagram too much, you think that I don't talk to people, or you think that I cannot even joke with me. That's how my friends think. They're like, this is not even LinkedIn, or this is not. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll turn it down a bit and just be a lot more, maybe just take
so you are talking of even dressing and the likes, right?
Oh yeah, dressing, of course.
So
definitely.
you agree that there's a garment that is, people, your generation is bold to say, I'm wearing a shewo cloth.
Jesus. Okay, yes, I mean, yeah. yeah, definitely.
You know that they are bold to say it. It seems like something that is acceptable right now.
Yeah. So to be honest, when it comes to those conversations about, what people wear, I'm very big on your body, your choice. But when the situations start to get a little bit complex and complicated, don't complain.
Say not complex and complicated.
Complex and complicated. Or complex or complicated is the same thing, but at the same time, it's not the same thing. By the time, things begin to, you just have to, I feel like if you're doing all of that, you're probably wise enough to navigate it. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. Anything you are doing, so far, I can't buy a back car. If you can, because I'm sorry to say, most of the men in this generation are not wise. I don't even know whatever it is they're taking. But they're not the most intelligent. And I'm saying it's my
men are not wise. I'm
saying most.
I'm trying to be vexed here.
No, Emma Bino. But it's actually true. It's a very significant number of them, actually. A very significant number of them, you just already know. You're just meeting me and you're telling me, how are you? What do you do? Are you gonna go out with me tonight? And I'll be there and I'm looking like Entrepreneurial, and they'll tell you stories like that. Yeah, I know. And then I met him that night and we went to the club. What do you mean you went to him? You went to the club with him? I don't know. Conversations is very personal. I don't really like to. No, it's true. I don't really like to get myself involved in all those controversial topics because at the end of the day, it boils down to your value system. It boils down to if you feel like dressing any type of way, please do it. You're free. I cannot tell you. And most of the time, you see that these people are even adults. You can choose to do whatever you want to do. But I hope that you have what it takes to actually navigate it when the chips are down. When anything happens, you can't be offended that, pardon my English, foolish men are approaching you. You can't be. And in your heart of hearts, it may just be your own way of expressing your own fashion sense. In your heart of heart, the kind of men that you want don't look at women like you. Same thing for the men, because it's not only women that have bad dress sense. Even men dress very terribly.
True.
What are you putting on? What are you wearing? Even men too. Let's even focus on them. God save. What are you wearing? What are you putting on? That also happens with men. So, but the kind of women that you want, the kind of women that you think your ideal women that you are looking at, that they should probably see, they cannot see you because you're not even presenting yourself like somebody that they want to see. So, like I said before earlier, when you were talking about distractions, I choose to see what I am wired to see. I don't see everything. It's not everything that matters to me. It's not the information I take in. It's not everything that I consume visually, with my ear, with my anything. It's not everything. I don't pay attention. I went to get food.
What you taking?
Yeah, I went to get food. I'm so sorry to bring this in, but I went to get food with she's a 13-year-old. I was sharing this thing with Timi the other day, and I didn't even know where to start. And we were there. It was at Ikeja City Mall. It was Casper's and Gambini. Yeah, we're just there. I went to get wings. So I said she wants wings, and she was like, okay, let's go there. And then we went and we just sat down before God and man. Lela, Joko anywhere. It was very okay. It was in the evening, but not the night time. And I don't know where this smoke came from, but I think it just entered the restaurant. She just said, I think that's weed. It's not vape, it's shisha. First of all, I don't even know. If they tell me that, okay, for you to win $5 million, what am I doing? I'm fail it, but at the end of the day, I'm actually fail it.
So at 13, she could differentiate.
Like, what did you say?
What smell?
And then she said, yes. She could tell me, she could differentiate. She said, oh, that's weird. I don't think that's vape or shisha, because vape. I'm like, how did you know? Joyful auntie, and then
she's knowledgeable.
She told me, oh yeah, vape has flavors. I actually had to go research that to be sure that she was actually saying the right thing, and she was not lying. But I didn't know how to feel about it.
They will say she's aware of her surroundings.
I didn't know how to feel about that
environment, really.
Because what's going on? And I told her, I said, how did you get to know this thing? How did you get to know? Oh no, I go for parties, and I'm like, okay. And then
she's 13.
She's 13, and she goes
for parties.
Yeah, she goes for parties. Uncle Timi, she goes for parties. I feel it. Let's leave that for now. But I definitely had something to do with that, though. I got involved a little bit, but not too much, so that she doesn't feel like I'm being too. But at the same time, she needs guidance because she's like family to me, and that's what that matters. I don't care about any other person's opinion, but it's very, very important that she.
So, Daring.
Yeah.
I want us to wrap up like this. I know that there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unpack, but we are way beyond time. So let's wrap up like this. You have a minute to tell the world something. What would that be?
If I had a minute?
The world is to tell the world something. The world is listening right now. What's that message you want to put out there?
That's it now. It doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter when. Just that's it now. Because everything that's happened to me over the past how many years of my life has been a product of time. Aside from God's grace, aside from, me understanding what He would have me do part time, that's a plus. That's a huge plus that I feel like everybody should have in their pockets and in their hands. But just know that time, your time is very, very important, and what you do with it, you never know what it's going to be in the next 2 weeks, the next few weeks. You just have to start now. Try. Just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the most beautiful. It doesn't have to be the most sophisticated. Just start. You would eventually make sense at the end of the day. So I think that's one major thing I'm going to let people know. Just start it. Whatever you're thinking. Just
do it crying. Do it crawling.
Yeah.
Do it shouting.
Anyway.
Do it. Stay.
Anyway at all. Just do it. Just do it. Don't just forget about social restrictions. Forget about what society thinks it should look like. Just start. Nobody made those rules. Absolutely nobody made those rules. It's just some people somewhere that started something and everybody decided to go with the trend because it looks pretty. Just start. So that's what I'm gonna say.
You might just be a trend starter, as it were.
Yes, so
start.
Just start.
Daring, I wanted to say so. Let me just say it. But there's a balance to it where people say, there's the timing is everything. There's the start now, and there's the wait for the appropriate time. So I think at the end of the day, it falls with you, the balance of you discerning when to kick off. But don't let fear and let what people would say and other people's opinions stop you from starting what you need to start.
I agree.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yes, I agree. But
if you even do it and you fail at it, at least now you know how to fail at it. Mm-hmm. So
I feel like
knowledge.
I think another thing I'm going to probably say is that yes, it's very important that you know the best time to start. But when we say start, sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that you are starting and everything is going to go full blown. Like you're going to just, when you start, everything is just up in the air and up in the sky. I feel like it's okay for you to get your hands doing the thing. Like just start it, just do it. Because what we then find is opportunities would come. And if you haven't tried your hands on it at all, and you haven't, because it's in that process of you trying to get your hands familiar with that thing that you then get to see, okay, I feel like it's something I can get a grip of. When you have the leading and when you have the clarity to go, as God would have you go, you're not just going. Because even as much as when God says do something, or when God says go and do this thing, God is not saying be absolutely irresponsible while doing it. God is not saying don't do your research. God is not saying don't study. God is not saying don't establish this relationship. God is not saying don't take that course. God is not saying that. Yes, He will tell you when to go. And when He tells you go, definitely things are falling in line for you. But before that, there is a preamble to it. There is a place where you would find yourself where it's a place of preparation. You're getting familiar, right? You may not go with all the investment. You may not go with all the $1 million. You may not go with everything. But you're reading, you're preparing. You are reading, you're preparing, you're doing everything you have to do. You're having conversations. You're going to that seminar. You're going to that conference. You are in that room. You are where you need to be part-time. Because when God says go, you're not just going with, okay, let me not start asking questions. No, it's your responsibility to have, gather things, do what you need to do, establish relationships here. Just be doing the preliminary work. Just be doing the preamble. And then when God says go, you're not wasting any time. You're not now even doubting, because you're not getting familiar with the territory that would have you dwell in. So I feel like, in as much as that's a very good one for you to start, when God says start, there's a time for you to start. Yes, I agree with that 100%. But when I say start now, it may not be full blown start now. It may be, okay, let me just start. Let me just get familiar. And I think, there was a conversation I wanted us to touch on, though. What do you bring to the table conversation? It's Will.
What do you bring to the table? Don't worry, we talk about it. That's why we still have more. We still do this again, because I believe there's still more things for us to talk.
Oh yes, there is so much more.
It's more like you have been introduced,
right?
So now we take it deeper the next time.
Okay. I like that.
Darren, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You stressed me. Yes, you did stress me, but you're here. Thank God. I thank God for what you brought to the table.
Right.
So thank you for joining me, and
thank you for
to
having
everybody out there watching, streaming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like, share, subscribe. Follow, do everything that you need to do. And we see next time on Live Moments. God bless. Peace out from me. Aderinsola.